Brian is still haunted by Cass's betrayal. One night, she drank too much and cheated on him, realizing her mistake only when it was too late. Their relationship has been fragile ever since, and the tension between them grows thicker every day. What neither of them knows is that someone is secretly watching their every move through hidden cameras. The next morning, Cassie tries to regain some normalcy. She makes breakfast and heads out for a run. But her mind is a mess. Memories of her infidelity gnaw at her. Lost in thought, she stumbles and injures her leg. Struggling to walk, she waves down a passing car. The driver, Federico, a charming and handsome Italian neighbor, stops to help. With a warm smile, he bandages her leg and drives her home. Before leaving, he plants a light kiss on her cheek, making her feel oddly comforted. Cassie, feeling grateful for his kindness, offers him coffee. At first, he declines, but moments later, he changes his mind and returns. She welcomes him in, relieved to have a friendly face around. Later that day, Brian sees Federico with Cassie. Something about the man's presence unsettles him. Doubts creep into his mind, and he can't shake the feeling that Cassie might not be as loyal as she claims. Federico suggests they all visit a nearby town together, but Brian declines, saying he has other plans. As Cassie heads to the shower, Brian sits alone, wrestling with a decision. Should he propose to her? He picks up the ring he's been hiding, but is flooded with memories of her betrayal. The thought of her unfaithfulness crushes his resolve. Meanwhile, hidden cameras reveal that Federico is watching them, his intentions becoming increasingly sinister. That evening, Federico offers to drive them into town. Eager to escape the tension at home, Cassie agrees, dragging Brian along. During the drive, Cassie opens up to Federico, sharing how she met Brian and how their relationship has been struggling since the affair. Federico listens intently, his charm putting her at ease, but Brian grows visibly jealous of the connection forming between them. In town, the tension boils over. Brian pulls Cassie aside and accuses her of still being unfaithful. He confronts her about the secret calls she's been receiving, convinced they're from her admirer. The argument turns ugly, and Cassie storms off, determined to head home alone. On her way back, she runs into Federico near an ATM. They collide accidentally, and Federico's mind races with thoughts he keeps hidden behind his gentlemanly smile. Meanwhile, Brian, now alone, heads to a bar to drink away his anger. At the bar, Federico shows up again, this time pretending to be a friend. Brian, desperate to vent, pours his heart out, confessing that Cassie cheated with a co-worker and that this trip to Italy was supposed to be their last chance at saving their relationship. His jealousy and resentment are eating him alive. Federico, ever the opportunist, encourages Brian to let loose and points out two stunning Italian women, Alessandra and Isabella. Brian, drunk and vulnerable, agrees to join them for a game. They play two truths and a lie, and the alcohol dulls Brian's guilt as he flirts with the women. During the game, Federico drops a chilling comment. He has the keys to Brian and Cassie's villa and could visit Cassie anytime he wanted. The statement doesn't fully register with Brian in his intoxicated state. That night, Federico puts his twisted plan into action. He sneaks into the villa, using the spare keys he mentioned earlier. Quietly, he makes his way to the second floor and enters Cassie's bedroom. As she sleeps, he touches her, his obsession taking a darker turn. Half awake, Cassie assumes it's Brian and drifts back to sleep, oblivious to the danger looming in her home. The next morning, Brian wakes up in a motel bed. His head pounds with regret as he pieces together the night before. Without his phone, he rushes back to the villa, determined to keep his mistakes a secret. While showering, he notices faint lipstick marks on his skin, souvenirs from the Italian women. Panic sets in as he hopes Cassie won't notice. Brian remembers Federico's comment about the keys and grows suspicious. He asks Cassie if anyone visited while he was gone, but she doesn't recall anything unusual. His unease turns into paranoia, and their fragile relationship takes another hit as jealousy fuels a heated argument. The cracks in their relationship are deeper than ever, but the real danger is the one they haven't yet uncovered. Frustrated, Brian storms out for a walk while Cassie heads to the shower, blissfully unaware that Federico is still watching her every move through hidden cameras. As Brian wanders through the town, his thoughts spiral, and he decides to check out Federico's house. When he arrives, he finds the building eerily abandoned, with no signs of anyone living there. The realization hits him. Federico has been lying to them all along. Panicked, Brian rushes back to the villa. Meanwhile, Federico shows up at the house uninvited. He brings Cassie a rabbit dinner, claiming he hunted it himself. His charming smile makes her uneasy, but she reluctantly accepts his gesture. When Brian returns, he immediately tries to get Federico to leave, sensing something isn't right. But Federico refuses, threatening to reveal Brian's drunken encounter with the Italian women if he pushes the matter further. Cornered, Brian has no choice but to stay quiet. Dinner is tense. Federico's cryptic comments and unsettling demeanor keep both Brian and Cassie on edge. After dinner, Cassie retreats to the kitchen, giving Brian a moment alone with Federico. Seizing the opportunity, Brian threatens to call the police, but Federico only smirks and eventually leaves. Once Federico is gone, Cassie admits she's scared of him. She starts to believe Brian's concerns might not be so paranoid after all. Determined to take action, Brian contacts the house owner, Eduardo, reporting Federico as suspicious. Unbeknownst to them, Federico retreats to his secret hideout. Ignoring a call from a close friend, he instead focuses on his plan, watching the couple's every move through his hidden cameras. Meanwhile, Brian decides to come clean to Cassie. He confesses about his drunken night at the bar and admits spending time with two women. He insists nothing inappropriate happened. Cassie, though hurt, forgives him and suggests they start rebuilding trust. Later, as Cassie showers, she asks Brian to wait for her in the bedroom. Instead, he heads to the basement for a bottle of wine. Suddenly, the door slams shut, trapping him. He shouts for help, but Cassie can't hear him over the loud music Federico has turned on remotely. Upstairs, Cassie hears romantic tunes and assumes Brian is setting up a surprise for her. She finds a gift on the bed and smiles, believing it's from him. In the basement, Brian discovers a hidden door behind the wine racks. Fueled by desperation, he pushes through, navigating a simple maze. He finally escapes into another part of the house, his unease about Federico deepening. Federico, watching from his hideout, realizes Brian is free. He springs into action. Cassie, meanwhile, finds Brian's phone on the bed and notices several missed messages. Curious, she plays the videos and is horrified to see footage of Brian's flirtations with the Italian women. Just as her emotions boil over, Brian stumbles upon a screen showing Federico in the bedroom with Cassie just minutes earlier. The image fuels his own rage, convincing him she has been unfaithful again. Federico watches in delight as the couple argues, their accusations of betrayal escalating. His twisted plan to destroy them is working perfectly. In her anger, Cassie throws Brian's phone, accidentally breaking a mirror and revealing a hidden camera behind it. The horrifying truth dawns on them. Federico has been spying on them the entire time. Brian grabs his phone to call the police, but Federico bursts into the house. A confrontation erupts, and a peaceful resolution becomes impossible. Federico lunges at Brian with a hunting knife, and the two men fight violently. Overpowered, Brian struggles as Federico attempts to strangle him. Cassie intervenes, grabbing a cane and striking Federico on the head. The blow knocks him unconscious, but her fear and anger take over. She continues hitting him until he dies. Before they can catch their breath, a car pulls up outside. Panicking, they drag Federico's body into the next room. Eduardo, the house owner, arrives, claiming he's there in response to Brian's call. Though Brian and Cassie insist everything is fine, Eduardo pushes to inspect the house, pretending it's for their safety. As Eduardo searches, his true intentions become clear. He was working with Federico all along. The cameras were part of their twisted scheme to spy on couples, blackmailing them with the recordings. When Eduardo discovers Federico's lifeless body, he masks his rage with a calm demeanor. He plans to eliminate Brian and Cassie to tie up loose ends. Sensing Eduardo's intentions, Cassie distracts him while Brian grabs the cane. Eduardo defends himself, but Cassie seizes the moment to stab him in the back. Brian takes Eduardo's gun and fires a fatal shot, ending the nightmare. Searching the house, they uncover a hidden room filled with monitors and equipment. They destroy the hard drives, burn all evidence, and bury the bodies in the garden. Exhausted, they clean up and promise never to speak of the events again. Their ordeal, though harrowing, brings them closer together, and they begin to enjoy their time together once more. Unbeknownst to them, a garden gnome equipped with a hidden camera streams everything live. Millions of viewers watch the drama unfold, dismissing it as an elaborate work of fiction. Did you enjoy the recap? Please like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be updated next time we drop. Thanks for watching.